Why do addicts and other dysfunctional people lie? If you're not a person who lies, if you're an honest person and can't imagine lying to anyone, let alone somebody you're very close to, it might be hard for you to answer that question and to really understand that that person does chronically lie to you or is willing to lie to you. So the main reason is, well, for addicts, is that the addiction comes first. No matter what, they have to satisfy those cravings, and they're going to engage in the addiction. And as long as the addiction is there, if they have to lie to fix it or fill it, they're going to do it. Absolutely. No question. Addiction comes first, comes over the relationship. It's more important than the trust in the relationship. It's more important than how you feel or how you are affected. Addiction comes first. Second is anyone who is doing something that they do not want light shown onto is going to lie. If they are not willing to have whatever it is they're doing exposed and they're covering it up, then they're going to lie to continue that cover up. Otherwise, they would just be blatantly open and honest about it. But if they're covering it, they're going to have to lie. They're going to lie to cover their tracks. Also, if they don't want to take responsibility, they're not ready to admit it, they're not ready to change it, they're going to lie in order to cover it up and continue it. So lying allows them to continue doing the same thing without having to be accountable, without having to change, without you being able to say, yes, you are doing that. You have to change that. And as long as they're lying, say, no, I'm not doing that. I would never do that. You're just imagining it. You're crazy. You're sensitive. You're so suspicious. What's wrong with you? You have problems. And just flipping it back on you continually because they're not willing to look at themselves. They're not willing to change. The next one is that they're entitled. People that are entitled think that whatever it is that it takes to get what they want is fair game. It's means to an end. If I have to lie to get what I want, I'm going to do it. I want it. I want what I want. If I can't get it by asking, I'm going to manipulate. One of the ways I'm going to manipulate is to lie. And we do this, even kids do this. Kids will lie just to get their way. If you say, no, you can't do that. Well, wait a minute. That's not what I was going to do. That's not what I asked. I asked for this. You know, I said it was, someone told me the other day a story about a wanting to get a gift for a teacher. And it was a certain amount of money that the parent said that the child could spend. And then the child denied the parent having said that when the parent knew I absolutely had said that. The same thing with a gift exchange at Christmas. It was supposed to be like a $20 limit. And then no, all of a sudden, when that didn't get what the child wanted to get, then no, it was a $25 limit. So in other words, we're entitled. We want what we want. And in order to get it, if we want it bad enough, we'll lie. Okay. And just, it comes natural. My youngest daughter, when she was 3, we planted flowers in the flower bed in front, and it was so pretty. And we were both just like, oh, look how pretty this is. And she was so excited about it. And the next day I opened the door and the flowers were pulled out of the flower bed. And I was just like, what happened? And I asked her, did you do this? And she said, oh, no, I didn't do that. Foxy did it. Foxy was our small dog. And yes, dogs do dig up flowers, but guess what? Foxy had been dead for months. So that was a lie to cover up and not be responsible. It's just part of our nature, our sin nature in us that wants to hide and cover up. And what also happens is once somebody starts lying, sometimes people it becomes their identity, and they do it so much that it's like they've got to, at first what a tangled web we weave when at first we set out to deceive. It's like they build this whole house of cards, and they just have to keep lying, and they'll lie about things that they don't need to lie about. just because they're so used to lying. And uh, a lot of times, adult children of dysfunctional families, one of the characteristics that is listed is lie when they could tell the truth. It's just they've gotten so used to having to lie in that family to survive that it's too scary to just tell the truth. So just make something up, and that feels more comfortable. So these are different reasons why dysfunctional people lie. When somebody does not want to have light shown on them, they are going to hide in the darkness. They're going to continue to cover up what it is that they are doing, and we know that. So keep that into consideration. If you know somebody's lying, then don't expect that person to back down and admit it. Expect that person to get more entrenched and dig in their heels, so that it's not going to do you a whole lot of good to have a big argument and try to convince this person that that person is lying, and that you know they're lying, and that you have there. Here's where you get stuck. You know they're lying, but then you try to convince the person to admit they're lying, and the person is not going to admit they're lying until the person is ready to deal with whatever it is that's going on. So quit trying to convince the person that they're lying. You know the person is lying, and make your decisions accordingly. Okay? Hopefully that helps you if you're dealing with somebody who is lying. So thank you for watching this video, and I hope you'll go to my website and see all of the different resources that I have for you in your dysfunctional relationships.